1990 was quite an experience that you dream a dream and you think it's never going to happen. But we had a good hot rod. We'd learned how to win. We were running low ET in every town. We were winning races. It was just a roll, and we just kind of had the magic. And at the end of the year, I was so nervous to tie it up at the World Finals of the time. Back then it was the Winston Championships, as it was called. And all I had to do was qualify and show up first round, and I had the championship. Well, we qualified, and I showed up first round. I think I even got beat first round. But you know what's interesting about winning a championship? You win it, and I told my brother, I said, I'm all depressed. I locked it up. I'm the champ. I got the jacket. I got the check. I got the trophy, and all of a sudden I'm depressed, and it doesn't make sense. My brother called it postpartum depression, like a woman has, is that you wait 9 months to have that baby. And then when you have it, you don't know what to do because you're so used to being in that mode. And that's what racing was. I was in that mode for 15 years of my life, and then I got that baby and I didn't know what to do with it. But it was really my motivation that brought me back to winning '92, because I was on the phone that night to Austin Coyle, get your tail end back. We just won, let's take a vacation. And it was like, nope, that wasn't enough. It started all over again. But that was like, next to my children being born, that's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, was winning that first championship. And no championship will ever be the same.
In 1990, he said, I think I might have a shot at the championship, and he said, I'd like you to come down and watch me. And so I went to the final race at Pomona that year when he ran the final round to win the championship. And I was elated. I couldn't even believe it, because I had seen all these junk cars, and he had this race car that was going down the racetrack. It was miraculous, you know. It had Castrol across the side of it, and I thought, is he finally figuring out what he's doing, you know? So for the next 2 or 3 years, I started watching him. I thought, this is great. Then he has another crash, you know, where the car flips over in the starting line, spins upside down. The throttle stuck, and as he came off the line, I was in the pole vehicle all the time. He always liked to bring me along and put me in the pole vehicle. So the throttle stuck, and the car turns upside down, and because of the centrifugal force, it goes the whole quarter mile on the roof. So we go flying down the track. I jump out of the car. I'm just crying, and I just, oh my God, he's alive. And he brushes right by me and walks over in front of a TV camera and starts giving an interview. And at first, I was just crushed. I thought, my God, what's going on here? And then I come to realize that's John's office. That's where he works, and that's where he lives. And I just had to get used to him crashing.
In '92, we thought we had the championship locked up by the time we got to Seattle. And I'll never forget this. Our crew chief said, there's only a few races left. Let's go ahead and change our combination, and let's start, you know, seeing if we can run a little bit different, right? And get ready for next year, because we thought we had it done. We won in '90, '91, 2 years in a row, and Don Perdomo had said to me, you might win 1 or 2, you might even win 3 or 4 like I did, but nobody will win more than that. Joe Amato ended up winning, I think, 6, maybe it was 7. And we went on to win, 14 myself, 16 as a team owner. But it was really funny, we got so confident, and that was the first mistake that I'd made in my career, because everything, made a lot of mistakes, but a major mistake. And I can remember that we got to Seattle, and almost on every run we did a burnout, and the car kicked the rods out, it was on fire. And it's like, Coyle, what's wrong? We barely qualified and got beat first round. So here was this kid, Cruz Pedregon. Didn't have a clue who he was, but he drove for McDonald's. He just got the ride that year. And later that car became the hamburger stand from hell, is what I called it. I remember traveling north to the next race that I was so caught up in Cruz, I got him in my head. I've got to beat this guy, because Cruz had to do the impossible. He had to win 5 races that were left, and I had to lose 5. That's almost an impossibility. You know what I mean? I was struggling to qualify. I was getting beat first round. At Topeka, I was on fire trying to beat him at Dallas. We both left the starting line at Dallas. We both smoked the tires. I pedaled it, almost hit the wall, pedaled it again, came back off the wall, pedaled again, hit the wall the second time, came back off the wall. When you hit the wall, it's over. You've lost. When I hit the wall the third time, I destroyed this car and he still beat me. One of the most spectacular races at Dallas there ever was. I hit the wall 3 times and I still wasn't giving up. I remember traveling with Lori and the girls, they were little, and they all went into McDonald's because traveling in the van back in those days, and I wanted to get them all, the little kids box where you get a toy in it. The toy was the Ronald McDonald Cruz Pedregon race car. And the girls are going, look at this, Dad, over the seat, Ashley. They were so cute. Look at here's Cruz's car. And I pulled the car over, jumped out of the car. I was on meltdown, jumped up and down on that little car of my kids. They were all crying like, my wife said, have you lost your mind? But I fought him all the way to the end. And at the last race of the season at Pomona, right out here in Pomona, rolled my car over on its roof. And that was it. It was over. And they got on the radios and they said, it's over. And I'm yelling, no, get it back, fix it. And they said, it's over. He's won the championship. You lost that round, it's done. Go back to the trailer and I'm standing at the ropes and I'm thinking, well, you were the champ 2 years and now you're not. This little kid came up to me. Runny nose, colder than heck, late at night, it's the winter, into the season, it's November, late November. And the little kid says, hey champ, what's going on here? And I'm standing there by myself, and I said, well, first of all, I ain't the champ. The champ's over there at the McDonald's trailer. He goes, you're the champ, man. He didn't care about Cruz Pedregon. I ran straight to the phone. I called Coyle. Tomorrow morning, like we all felt it was over, our careers were over. The next day, we were hitting it again, and we came back. We won in 93, and we went on a run that no one ever saw, and that was the 10 straight, and it was unbelievable. And I don't know if that was 10 straight, but I think we won a few more years, and then Tony Pedregon, a young kid, Cruz's brother, I hired to drive for me. You know why? I wanted to know everything about that Cruz Pedregon. And his kid could tell me the color of his underwear. I want to know what made him tick so he wouldn't beat me again. And that really shows you how one little thing like that kid made my mind right. That was the end of 92. In 93, we bounced back and started all over.
John's cars continued to light up tracks across the country as he streaked to 10 straight impressive NHRA championships, a consecutive record that remains unbroken to this day.
But one record that may stand forever was from 1993 to 2002 was winning 10 championships. The LA Lakers never did it. The New York Yankees never did it. 10 straight. That was a big one, unheard of in motorsports or any other type of sport. And if you look at all my race cars, they're all branded with the big X on the side of them, with the Castrol right above it. You know what that X stands for? 10 straight. I never looked back at the wins. I never looked at the money. I just kept moving ahead. It was about winning. It was like an addiction. It's all you thought about. And if anything, I've always said that NHRA took my kids away from me, but I got so caught up with it. I was on the road living. I became another person. You live it like there is nothing else. The family got left behind. And yet in the summer, they were at Indy with us at the races. In the winters, we had our Christmases together. What made me a better man was the crash, when the good Lord hit me with a hammer at Dallas. That was a wake-up call, that family is everything. That you got lost out here, become another person. You think you're Superman, and James Dean all rolled into one. And Elvis, and I couldn't even sing. But you think you become that person because you have the magic. You can walk on water. Well, they can take it all away from you too real quick. So at the end of the day, I got my kids back because they're all racing with me. So bless the Lord, everything's good. But 93 was a year unbeatable, couldn't stop us. That may have been the year we had it wrapped up by the time we got to Dallas. The championship was over. I think a lot of the new rules and the countdown was changed because we had dominated for so many years that nobody wanted to come to the last race of the season because they already knew we won.
Along the way, John managed to break numerous records, from top speeds to top elapsed times, building a legion of fans who followed him everywhere he went.
What it's like to break any record, it's an accomplishment. It's what you do as a team, and it's bragging rights, you know, at the local pub. But you know, when we went up on the mountain, and there's two categories in the pro ranks. There's the long top fuel dragsters that are called the king of the sports. And then there's the funny cars that I drive. Same motors and everything, but different weight category. One looks like a rocket ship, one looks like an automobile. But when we went up against the dragsters that held all the records, and we didn't even run for their records, but on the mountain on Denver, during the summer at Denver, in Colorado, we went up on the mountain and we held the national record for the funny car and the national record for the top fuel dragsters. And buddy, that's when you could strut. When you could walk and say, we outran Big Brother. You know what I'm saying? And it was quite an accomplishment. But we had the speed records, we had the ET records. I had the longest running record in qualifying, 394 qualifyings or whatever they were.
It sure seemed like it was all working, you know, and we've won an awful lot of races and a lot of championships. And of course, each time you find your way to the winner's circle, it kind of reinforces that you're doing the right thing, you know. And over these years, we've set records that I'm pretty confident no other team will ever catch. Because, you know, quite frankly, the business is a little tougher now than it was back then. And you know, we made a lot of hay while the sun shined, I guess.
Yeah, I think John's 1,000-round wins and his number of championships, the number of victories, Austin Coyle's number of championships, those are, when you step back and look at it, those are almost, in my mind, nearly unachievable today. That was an era that was a force of domination that, to me, in my mind, I think back about those days and I wonder, how in the world did we get all that accomplished? How in the world were we able to put that many wins together? And today it's becoming more and more difficult.
In 1996, when I entered the door at Talladega, at the Motor Speedway there, with Castrol and all our brass, and we won the award, Driver of the Year, that no racer in NHRA history had ever won it. Only NASCAR, IndyCar, and F1. That was an honor, not just for myself or my team, but for a company like Castrol that had invested millions over the years to be honored in the light of the greatest of all time. And I was part of that as their driver. That was a proud moment. The Driver of the Year car sits right here behind me. And I think you can get a shot of it. It was all black with gold lettering, but it was quite an accomplishment. And that car was turned into a collector car and was one of the biggest sellers in the history of drag racing. Even the collector car, I got the record with the Driver of the Year in sales.
What an exciting time to be with the team. And I was just, really thrilled to be a small part of that program, but to see John blossom and take and grow this humble little program into something that is what it is today, absolutely astounding in my opinion.